Rangers win? Oh boy. I'm scared. Wait, you have any deaths back there? That does make me feel good. That's a bad image.
It's a bad image of him. He's a saucy bitch.
He's like, who's fucked up there?
Oh, you.
Am I wrong, gentlemen?
See if I try to cheer up your skank ass again.
Now I'm a skank. Okay.
No one disagrees with me.
Well, to be fair, I don't think Neil was looking, and Jeremy's definitely looking.
No, it wasn't.
Smile. Yeah, 'cause says the guy who always cries about not getting any last
Because you and
Come on, guys, it was
conspiracy, because you guys are like, we're never gonna laugh. Before we start the show officially, Yield, I'm gonna play last week's sound that nobody got, and everybody said that they didn't say it was hard, but anyway, I'm gonna play for you to see if you know.
Chippendales Rescue Rangers.
Was it actually last week too? Didn't you play Chippendale Rescue Rangers?
Chippendale was the first one. That was all. That was all bad.
Feels like no.
Yeah, no.
That was MacGyver.
No.
No, you didn't get it? No, that's not MacGyver.
No, that's not MacGyver.
I promise you it's MacGyver. Alright, everybody hit record.
Yep, I am recording.
You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Tricky Nick, Alex, I Yield to No One, Sid, and Ender Phoenix.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trophy Wars. This is episode 645. I'm your host, Tricky Nick. Alongside with me, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Alex.
I'm proving to be quite the excellent Ghostbuster.
He brings the awesome. It's I Yield to No One.
You know, that is a really fun game. Too bad Tricky bailed right away.
Oh, Jesus. They already ragged on me last week or 2 weeks ago whenever you weren't on the show. I didn't bail. I just wasn't in the mood. Plus, the Yankees were playing.
Mm-hmm. That,
Game one didn't go like you planned, did it?
That's the way you are when you play most multiplayer games with us.
Wait, hold on a second. First of all, Alex, the Yankees won that game. They just haven't won any in the World Series yet.
No, they haven't. No, game one in the World Series, they lost because the Dodgers hit a grand slam.
Yes, but that was before.
I'm aware, Tricky, that you stopped playing Ghostbusters with us to go watch the American League Finals, which the Yankees then won.
That's what
I was referring to the World Series, which you guys are down.
And for the third week in a row, we brought back Jeremy. Jeremy, how you doing, sir?
Pretty good. You gotta celebrate the small victories in life, and the Patriots actually won a football game today, so there's my small victory for the day.
Did they were playing in London, right, or Germany?
No, that was last week. They played the New York Jets this week, and they beat Aaron Rodgers. So,
you know, I'm not a Jets fan, but I would think that the Jets are actually doing a lot better now that they had Rodgers back, because they were doing pretty good without him.
No, they've won at least games in Cincinnati.
That's surprising. But I mean, I say that, and I haven't really been paying attention to them. So who the hell?
Yeah, but you're talking about the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers, who in his 40s. I mean, not everyone is Tom Brady.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
You mean the guy that Eli beat twice in the Super Bowl?
World Series? Yeah.
I was about to say the World Series.
Uh-huh. Look, yeah, I already busted your balls about the World Series, but if you want to bring Tom Brady up and the whole Eli thing.
How many rings does Tom Brady have compared to Eli?
72.
Yeah, I don't think he cares.
Yeah, but you know when you
that's like literally
fingers. There's the tuck rule. There's the Vinatieri rule. You know what I'm trying to say? That rule.
Vinatieri?
Yeah, I butchered his name. Anyway,
the tuck rules is the only real one.
But Jeremy, I mean, this is 3 weeks in a row. You know I'm going to give you shit about Boston.
Yeah, that's fine.
And you're going to give me shit about New York.
Yep, which I did before this podcast started. So
yes,
we're even.
Oh man, I missed the New York shit talk. Damn.
Well, you know that's what happens when you show up on time.
Hey, it's not my fault. Skype wouldn't load. Microsoft run product. No
you know, every week
it can't open properly.
Every week I'm sitting at my desk at 6:15, ready to go in case there's any problems. Alex shows up at 6:50. Goes, okay, everything's gonna work. Wait, no, it's not working. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I had to take my dog for a walk, and we put up some Halloween decorations, and I got something to eat, and I cleaned up after the cats. I don't know how that's my fault, but I'm not gonna just sit here. It's 45 minutes before recording when I got other shit to do.
It's called time management, sir. Time management.
Apparently, you got nothing to do, Tricky, so you manage your time pretty easily.
Well, I do have a lot of free time outside of packing, but all right. Let's do our updated trophy count. I am level 959, total trophies of 33,830, 976 plats. I don't think I earned a plat all week. I don't think so. Alex?
I thought you were going to say I didn't earn a trophy all week.
What did I say? Platinum?
A platinum, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't earn a trophy all week. Sorry. I told you guys I'm out of it. So just be grateful I'm here right now. Alex, what are your trophies, sir?
Well, I just tried to load the document you sent me and it said something about it being the trash.
Yeah, you need to go back to the original. I don't know why Tricky sent you that one.
Okay, hold on. A little behind the scenes. Matt made an agenda, and I also made an agenda, not knowing he made an agenda. So,
so we're going with the one that Matt made because the one that Matt has yeah, he knows. Okay, yeah. I'm good to go. Level 512, total trophy count of 10,226, and a platinum count of 180 in 179 games.
Yield.
Oh, let's see here. Level 519 with trophy count of 10604. A platinum count of 197.
Matt is level 221 with total trophies of 1,323. I don't think he got any extras. And no plats. Sid is level 120 with total trophies of 340 with 4 platinums. Jeremy?
Level 405, trophy count 6362, platinum count of 53.
And I wasn't paying attention. Have you updated at all since last week?
No, I haven't, but I that's why I wanted to get on here to give you that news that I'm going to put for the sake of this podcast, I'm going to put the PC away for a while, and I'm going to start earning trophies again, I think.
I mean, you are becoming an honorary whore over here, so.
Got to start acting like it, I guess.
Yep. All right, gentlemen. It's that time. Your favorite time of the week. Jeremy, Alex, do you have your papers ready?
Yes.
Got my index cards ready.
Okay. Alex, I'm going to remind you, when I ask you to reveal, keep it hidden until I tell you to flip.
I've only done that once.
You did it the first 2 weeks.
Alex, you do it however you want to do it.
I'm just trying to help my fellow whores out. That's all.
Yes, I know, but all right. So I did go back and listen to previous episodes. The score is Tricky 0, only because I haven't been able to play yet. Alex, you have 4 points, but I took a point away from you, so you only have 3.
I erased that off the agenda, so it's 4.
I don't care what you erase off the agenda; it's still 3.
All right. Well, then I'm refusing to play then. So
Yield, you got
boys, have fun with this because I'm not doing any more then.
Yield, you got 2 points, only because you missed the last 2 weeks. Matt has 1 point, and Jeremy has 2. All right, here we go. All right.
Hold on. It was starting to get good there.
Well, I actually stopped you because there was a complaint that I do them too long. Also, for the first time I got copyright striked on YouTube last week. So, yeah. While they're writing down their answers, if you did watch the YouTube video last week, for some reason we got it wasn't a strike, but we got a copyright warning for MacGyver, which Yield says was not MacGyver because I played.
It's not.
So
It's not MacGyver.
But Yield, I posted the strike in the Facebook group where it showed that that's what was triggered was MacGyver. So
No, you did. If you did, I didn't see it.
well, it's because you left the chat, sir.
So hold on. Can you play the song again,
See,
just so I
see,
can
you,
have?
see, you have to say you posted it in the Facebook chat, not you posted it. You said you posted it in Facebook.
On the Facebook chat and the chat.
Oh.
Facebook. Anyway, all right,
I gotcha.
Alex, here you go again.
You
I
don't
feel like
know
I
that?
should know this, but it's
You
just not
should
coming to
know
mind.
this.
All right, Alex, I'll give you 10 more seconds.
Oh, hold
You
on.
should 100% know this.
Just wait until I say my answer, then write yours down.
No, I won't do that.
All right, Alex, you're gonna have to forfeit this week.
That's fine. I don't.
All right, Jeremy,
I
answer?
should know it, but I can't think of it.
Yeah, do you want me to hold it up?
Yeah, hold it up. Do not reveal the answer yet.
Okay.
You can. It's not like I'm going to see it.
All right, Yield, what is it?
It's the 007 thing.
Yes. Jeremy, your answer? James
Well,
Bond theme.
J-
Correct. Alex, you didn't. I got that off the first 2 beats.
No, I didn't. I was actually extending the song in my head, so I kind of knew it was coming next. I just couldn't think of it.
All right. Updated score. Alex 4. I'm giving you your point back, Alex. Yield 3. Matt 1. Jeremy 3. We have to keep it running total. We have guests on the show.
Well, I figured if I can't compete in the rarity competition, maybe I can at least win this one.
How are you doing in the rarity contest?
Not great.
In 1 week, Alex went from like 7th to like 1st.
Alex doing it legit, too.
It was all because of one game.
I'm just going to put that out there.
You know, not for nothing. Like, I'm not. I know I'm going to sound like I'm making excuses right now, but I'm not. Like, I had a good thing going where I was holding down 3rd place, and then life happened, and everything fell apart.
Hey, I'm still in the top 10. That's where I wanted to be at the end of the year. I was surprised I lasted as long as I did in the top 5 and the top 3.
But you're in League 1, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm in League 1.
Well, me and Alex are in League 2. That's why I asked. Jeremy, what league are you in?
I also got like relegated to the Division 2.
Oh, all right. So you two fell. I stayed. I was hoping to get promoted to 1.
Last time I checked, I think out of 13 or 14 people, I think I'm like 11th.
Yeah. All right. Let's do our what we're playing. Yield, we'll start with you. It's been 2 weeks since you've been on the show. What have you been playing, sir?
So I finished up Leisure Suit Larry, Wet Dreams Die Twice. That was my latest platinum. I've played some Rocket League. I've played some World of Warship Legends. God, I hope that this Halloween thing's the last thing I have to play for a while, because I'm really tired of devoting some time to World of Warship Legends. Jumped back into the Farm Simulator 19 and was kind of working towards that, trying to get my 100 missions done. I've played some Lawnmower Simulator, working on my challenges, and I've just about got those done. I've played a little bit of Helldivers 2, so I would get the Liberty Day stuff that came out yesterday as we were recording. And started playing Ghostbusters Spirit Unleashed, which is a really fun game that you can play with friends. You can play online, but I don't do that. I play with friends, or I just play against the computer.
You just don't want to play randoms, or is it frustrating?
No, I don't. No, I don't want to play with randoms. I have gotten to the point in my life where I pretty much don't like playing with randoms because they're all assholes.
Fair.
In all fairness, this game is cooperative. So any games that I've played with matchmaking, any games I play with matchmaking have been perfectly fine. No one's been like they can't. It's not like the other Ghostbusters can like. There's not like team damage or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like you can't hurt your other team members. So there's nothing they really can do to you.
Yeah, this is the one game where you could play multiplayer to where I feel you can't really get annoyed with you can get annoyed with your teammates, but not the way that you stole this from me and no. But I don't want to. I've been playing this game with the guys, and that's where I want to leave it.
That's fine. You were talking about Rocket League. You like that fan-made goal that I put out there?
No.
I thought that was funny. Especially
There's enough trolling in Rocket League as it is. You don't need to add that.
Yeah, maybe one of the most toxic communities in all of video games.
Apparently, you never played Call of Duty back in the day.
I'm not saying the most, but it's bad.
It's
really
bad. That's why I've turned my communication to team only, and the only reason I still play is because we play as a group.
All right, you playing anything else?
I think there may have been, but nothing's showing up. So I'm gonna say, and I've played some Warhammer. Warhammer 40K Space Marine on the 3.
Oh, that's not
That's
not the new one.
No, the new one, Space Marine 2. That's the sequel to the one that I'm playing on the 3.
Got it.
I got my trophy for completing Chapter 1 on hard, without dying, and in one sitting. So now I'm just down to finishing the game on hard, and then grinding out 40,000 kills.
Gotcha. I'm just looking at my trophies. I got a trophy I didn't even realize I got. Alex, what have you been playing, sir?
So, played some Rocket League because the Haunted Hallows finished the Haunted Hallows tasks. Again, disappointing year because, again, Spider-Man, they're already running a Marvel event, or they were previous to the Haunted Hallows of Spider-Man. So, you could already go out and buy like Doctor Doom or Iron Man themed stuff. So, it's like, man, you're running a Marvel event and then you run another Marvel event. I'm sorry, it just doesn't feel like Halloween. One thing I will say that they could do to improve Haunted Hallows is with the seasonal events, like you get golden pumpkins for playing so many events or so many matches, and those golden pumpkins have a random item in them that you could win. So instead of just putting random everyday items in there, put Halloween items in there, put past Halloween items in there. People would love that if you brought back like 2018, 2019, or whatever, from the first few Haunted Hallows, brought those back. I did see they put the Haunted House topper in the shop the other day, and I bought it for 50 credits, which, isn't bad at all. But it'd be nice if they brought back more of those items and put them in the golden pumpkins, because what's the point of having a golden pumpkin and then getting like some common everyday like speed boost out of it. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, and I feel like it's an easy way they could make the event better by having Halloween items and Halloween themed items in the golden pumpkins, which would then encourage people to play more, rather than be like get a golden pumpkin, get some shitty uncommon item, and be like, well, fuck this, I'm done. Then I also played a ton of Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. Wasn't able to get together with the guys all that much this week. We played, I think the last time we played was last Saturday. The last time I played with the guys was last Saturday. But I've gotten all the Ghostbuster trophies. I'm working on the Ghost trophies. I currently have only 3 left before I get the Platinum trophy. And one of them is to get the Ghost fit to your Ghost class variant to level 50, and I'm on like 40 something, so that shouldn't take more than an evening. The other few are more situational, so I could use a little help with those. But I mean, overall, Matt asked a question last week about the Ghost that I really couldn't answer all that well. But each Ghost type, when you play as the Ghost, has different stats and different attributes, so it does kind of matter. Based on your play style, you can pick a Ghost that suits that. I think I've really only played one class because once I unlocked all like the costumes of the variations for that class, Slimer's at the end. So of course I'm going to play a Slimer. And as you go along, you get to level 50, you unlock more and more color variants for them, so you can have a different colored Slimer. You don't have to have the green. But between the Ghosts that I've played, even the same class, there are different variations. Like you can call like the moves you have. You can call minions. You have a super like defense move. Like it's almost like a giant like ooze tornado. And in the middle, there's like you can throw ooze or slime at people. And there's variations on that. The first I can't remember what his name is, Blinky or something like that. But the first Ghost you start with, he just kind of throws a slime ball at people, whereas Slimer spits slime at them. So even like within like shared moves, there are variations between the Ghosts. But yeah, Ghosts have different stats, different attributes, which makes some better situationally than others. So just you can pick a Ghost based on what you like. Trying to think of anything else that I have to say about the game. Again, a lot of fun. Like the locations, I prefer playing as a Ghostbuster better than playing as the Ghost. But playing a Ghost isn't. I mean, one of the tips I'll give people if you're playing as a Ghost and you need help like fully haunting a venue, all you gotta do is just go around and haunt a bunch of shit. Just haunt a ton of shit, because there's a trophy for haunting 50 items in a level in one round. And what those haunted items do is they'll go around, like float around and scare people for you. So they'll do a lot of the work. But also there is a trophy for fully haunting a venue without getting caught in a ghost trap, and that pairs very well with the haunting 50 items. So haunt as many items as you can, and possess items to rebuild your energy, so that you can use that energy to use more special powers and dash, because dashing takes down your energy. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's a very fun game. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next night I can get together with the guys.
All right, Jeremy.
Another week of me playing the Silent Hill 2 remake. They finally implemented a patch for that on PC. They finally added frame generation with the DLSS, so I'm getting a bunch more frames. Not that matters to you guys, I get it, but
You're honest.
yeah. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I played a game where I genuinely got scared. I had a moment for sure in this last playthrough or last part I was playing through with Pyramid Head that made me almost jump out of my chair. So bravo to that game for that.
Had you played Silent Hill 2 before?
Yes.
So does the game kind of like follow the same layout? Do you like, if you played the first game, would you know when Pyramid Head's coming after you?
To an extent, yes, but they definitely added in new things. Like there's a spot where you're walking around actually in the apartment building where I don't remember. I mean, this was how many years ago though? This was probably over 20 years ago that I played this on PlayStation 2, but there's a spot where I was walking through the apartments and Pyramid Head was just kind of there watching me from a distance. I don't remember that on the PlayStation game, but yeah, that got me. And then I get to the rooftop and I'm just casually walking around checking stuff out, and I'm grabbed by the throat by Pyramid Head. I about Oh, fell out of my seat. It got me.
Pants?
So, yeah. But they with the DualSense, the features on the DualSense are really nice with this game. Whenever you're going towards enemies, you get the static through the controller, which I thought was pretty cool. Pretty cool implementation. I just got to the Toluca prison part of the game, and it's somehow amped it up even more. I'm more scared than I was before. So yeah, it's gonna be I don't know when I'm gonna get done with this, but we're gonna work on it. It's I'm dealing with the spider mannequins at this point, and they are.
And that's why I'll never play the game.
They're frustrating to say the least.
I stopped playing the game because of a spider right now.
Yeah, these things. You're walking through the prison, and you have to throw these like breakers to turn the lights on. And when you throw the breakers on,
All the spiders.
they scurry off because of the light to try to get out of the light. And yeah, you wouldn't like that.
Yeah, not that's just like nightmare fuel for me. Anything else?
No, that's all I'm playing. But I do want to give a shout out to my kid because he earned his first platinum trophy this week, which means he earned more than I have this week. So he was playing a little indie game called Squirrel with a Gun. I don't know if you guys heard of that one.
I
have
never
seen
played
it
it, but I
around.
have heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, he just finished that up the other day, and he was super proud. So I just wanted to shout him out there for that. That was.
Is that a hard platinum or?
I think it was like 20 trophies. I think he did it probably within about a week and a half. I mean, he was playing a lot, so. But I'm sure it wasn't overly difficult. But I mean, either way, I'm happy for him.
At least
I was going to give your son credit and be like, man, that's probably one of the hardest traveling trophies to get there. And Jeremy's kid just knocked it out like a champion.
Sure did.
Yeah, it's one of those games like it intrigued me, but I was like, that's just a little silly. That's because I feel like if I said I played Squirrel with a Gun, the guys would be like, oh, you played another spam game.
No, not necessarily.
It costs
If
$20.
you played, see, you wouldn't play Squirrel with a Gun. You would play Hoppy Squirrel with a Gun hops over shit. Like that's the game you would play.
Flappy Bird.
Hey, listen, Flappy Goat is one of the hardest trophies I've gotten in my life.
See, Squirrel with a Gun kind of like falls right into line like with the games that my kids play. My kid just my 6-year-old wanted me to buy him a game tonight. It was Pizza Possum or something like that. You're a possum and you're running around eating pizza. They play all these goofy games.
That seems harmless. That seems like a game that's appropriate for children.
Yeah.
And adults.
The goddess brought my daughter to GameStop for her birthday because my daughter's birthday is in 2 days.
Why would she patronize GameStop? Why?
It's my daughter wanted to go, and she wanted a couple of Five Nights at Freddy's stuff. But what angered me, which also tickled me, is she went ahead and bought Cult of the Lamb.
Great game.
And
Alex approved. That's an Alex-ass game if there ever was one.
And I said to her, I said, you know that I have it for the PlayStation. She goes, yeah, but I want to play it on my Switch. Like, okay. So she's not following the trophy trend.
You gotta let it happen, Tricky. You know, it's how we all started. We grew up on Nintendo.
She's growing up, and I don't like it.
No, Tricky, here's the thing. We all grew up on Nintendo, and then we graduated to trophies later on. Just let it happen. It'll take its natural course. Or she'll continue to play Nintendo games and then also add trophies in.
I got to buy her a PlayStation, a portable PlayStation. I want to buy her a Vita.
Vita's dead.
But it still has trophies yield.
It's dead.
Yeah, but can you still access the store, or is it going to go down when the PS3 store goes down?
It's down.
No, you can still access it on the actual Vita.
But can you buy things off it?
Yes. Oh, but only through the Vita. Like you can only buy PS3 games through the PS3. You can't go onto the website or the app to buy those games. But if you go to the store on those systems, you can still access the store. At least the last time I checked, which was quite a while ago. Unless I'm wrong and somebody will correct me.
Good thing we run a PlayStation podcast and you seem so sure about that.
Well, I haven't turned on my PS3 in probably 4 years.
Hey man, I had it on last year trying to get those platinum trophies in Star Wall, and was last year when I got Eco. I think that might have been the year before.
All right. That it, Jeremy?
Yeah, that's it.
And I've been playing a little NHL 24. I got benched again for being a puck hog, apparently.
Being a selfish jerk.
I've gotten 20 goals in 24 games. And somehow I'm a puck hog. But when I'm skating down the ice, they don't pass it to me. So when I get it, I have to do what I got to do. Played a little bit more with Thunder Ray. Alex, I got to tell you, the fights on the 4 version are harder than the 5 version.
Oh, really? See, I was curious about that because, again, I played on Rookie, and now the first few fights, you can just kind of like button mash and get through them pretty easily. I think up to like Millennium Cobra, you can, which is a 3rd fight, you can pretty much button mash and you'll be fine. When you get to the Glam Witch, which is the 4th fight, that's when it gets
That's
a
the
little
one I
more
can't
difficult.
pass. That's the one I
That
can't.
gets a little more difficult. See, now you thought I was lying, and here we are.
No, I'm just saying, I went through them easily on the 5, and this fight was not that hard on the 5.
I wonder if they reduced the difficulty on the 5 because they knew they were going to do like those gauntlet runs where you had to go through all the bosses in a certain amount of lives. That's my theory, is that they toned down the difficulty based on feedback from the 4, but I could be wrong.
Well, didn't the 4 and the 5 version come out at the same time?
I'm not entirely sure because I know, well, obviously the 4 doesn't have a platinum trophy and the 5 does, and the 5 has trophies for the gauntlets.
Yeah.
So, which the Rumble mode or whatever, and the 4 doesn't. So I'm assuming the 5 version came after the 4.
That's possible. I never looked up. Didn't play Darksiders 2 because I got to the part where you had to fight the big ass spider, and I died and just never went back.
So you done? Are you not gonna play that game anymore?
I am gonna go back and just every time I think about popping it up, I'm like, yeah, but now I'm gonna go to the spider fight and I'm not really equipped for it. Do I want to run back and stock up on items for it? Because I say this and I know like the flack I'm getting. I could literally do that fight with my eyes closed. I just don't have the health potions to sustain it, to do it. As the guy said, I played a little Ghostbusters with the guys. Astrobot, I got the DLC trophy. And I just looked now at the trophies. Apparently the second DLC bot is out. I put this out on Facebook, but I don't know how many people saw it. A little trophy tip for this. Apparently there's 2 bots that you can get on the speedruns. And I got the first one, no problem. And then I got a better time the second time. So my working theory, which I have not seen proven or disproven, is that you only get the second bot if you beat your previous time. So my recommendation is when you do it the first time, go through, take your time, because you'll get the bot regardless of your first time. And then this way it'll make it easier for the second time once you know what you're doing and you can get through it faster. But if you try to blaze through it to get to it, and then you're struggling to beat your time, you may not get the second bot. But I don't know if that's true. I've been playing Division, obviously. Very excited because Tuesday, the day before you guys get this on the podcast services, Seasons 2.0 comes out, and I'm going to be live streaming it. I will tell you, if you catch me live streaming it, you can get Division perks through Twitch drops, and they look like they're very good perks, a lot of Halloween-themed ones. So check that out. And then I bought a game, which I know if Will was in the chat, he'd give me crap about. I'm not too impressed with is Funko Fusion.
That's the Funko Pop game for everyone's curious.
Yeah.
What'd you pay for that, out of curiosity?
I'm sorry?
What'd you pay for that, out of curiosity?
I think I paid $50.
Whew.
Ouch. No way.
But here's the weird thing. I got the game and a DLC pack for cheaper than what the normal game would cost. That's why I went that route.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it's actually a $60 title or $70 title, but I think I paid $50 for it. But I got a DLC, a Bob Ross DLC with it. which you can't turn down. And there's a bunch of free DLC for it. I got a Jurassic Park one. I can't remember the other ones, but it's very Lego-like, if that makes sense. Like, if you guys play the Lego games, it's very Lego-like, but the combat in the game needs improvement. You fire at a gun. It doesn't explain much. And the first time I played it, because I'm going through the Scott Pilgrim world right now. Just on the first mission, I kept dying a lot because the game doesn't really explain different things. Like, in order to get one of the enemies, one of the bosses, you have to build an amp, bring the amp over, and you have to play a bass to it. But it doesn't tell you that if you punch the bass or punch the amp, it changes from lead guitar to bass. So I'm sitting there and I'm using I was using Scott Pilgrim, and he's the lead guitar, so boom, it's not going through. Then I was like, okay, well, let me try the other character, which I can't remember his name. Because he plays bass and I'm going to do it, and it's not working. And then just randomly, I just happened to swing, and it changed the amp, and then boom, went through. It doesn't explain a lot, so there's a lot to go with it. But I do like the fact that you can do the worlds in any order you want. Story is a little confusing at the point, but I guess that there's an overall overarching Funko story, which you got to save Freddy. But it's not a bad game. I just think the combat could use some serious work.
Hold on, you said that you're shooting a gun. Do you play as some nondescript main character, a protagonist, or do you get to create your own, or do you play as like a certain, like in a Scott Pilgrim world? Do you play as Scott Pilgrim?
You play as Scott Pilgrim or Ramona Flowers or Knives Chow, or I can't remember the other guy's name in the band. You play with all those, but I mean, I could go get Owen from Jurassic Park and go through the world.
So this really plays like a Lego game then, where you're like switching off like that.
Right. But the problem is that if you go get Owen, you're not going to be able to beat the story levels, or you can't really take Owen and bring him into the Scott Pilgrim world because you need the guitar to accomplish certain things. There's lots of collectibles, a lot of it's fun in the fact that like you get to explore the world as a pop figure, but it's not fun in the fact that they really like Lego. The combat is stupid and silly, but it's not punishing. Scott Pilgrim is complicated and it doesn't really make sense.
So let me make sure I had this right. A character that you get from Jurassic Park, you can take into the Scott Pilgrim world, but the problem with that is you can't complete challenges because they don't have the guitar necessary to get past those challenges.
Correct.
So why let you take those characters into the Scott Pilgrim world?
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's a great question.
But see, like I can go. They got He-Man in the game. They got.
Well, of course they do.
They got Battlestar Galactica in the game.
Not sure about that.
They got Hot Fuzz, which I've never seen.
You mean the Simon Pegg movie? I mean, that's a really good movie. I enjoy it, but that's a weird. That's a deep cut right there. Because you could pick of all the things they've made pops of, you could certainly pick something that's more better known than Hot Fuzz. And again, I like Hot Fuzz the movie. I own it, but that's a weird choice that's out there.
I've never seen that movie. Dex,
I mean, you should. It is good.
Dex, I see you in the chat. What's up? And the other reason that I don't like this game is apparently it got me in trouble on Twitch because I got hit with a copyright.
Because of licensed music?
Yeah, it has I don't know if this is a Funko thing or this is a Twitch thing, but just straight off the top, if I'm streaming a game on Twitch and the music is coming straight from the game, that should not be popping any copyright things.
If I was a developer, I would be give a heads up to Twitch, because if it's free advertising when you watch people play on Twitch or somebody else streams it. It's easy. It's marketing. It's easy free marketing people can watch. And so if I'm the company that made it, I'm pissed off that all these copyright strikes. I'm like, no, I want people to play my game on stream. Hey, Twitch, stop fucking around like this. You know, I don't know. And this came up with like Rock Band and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which is more music dependent than say this.
That's one of the reasons why I stopped streaming Rock Band is because I kept hitting with. Okay, when I say copyright strikes, I'm not getting copyright strikes, but they're muting that section of the stream. So if like I'm having a conversation with a viewer or something like that, that entire conversation is gone for somebody watching the VOD because they just mute everything.
Where we know nobody watches your streams.
Hey, Dex is in 90% of my.
Well, Dex is a saint. Okay.
Dex is a saint.
You know what I think could actually be the strongest part of this game. It's the same thing for the Hot Wheels game. Like the racing is fun in Hot Wheels, but the best part of the Hot Wheels game, Hot Wheels Unleashed, is collecting the cars. And this has a built-in. People like to collect pops. And this is kind of like got a built-in kind of collection aspect to it. So the best thing you could do in this game is probably allow people just to virtually collect as many pops as they can.
Well, you can, but see, that Dex says he's far from a saint. Yes, you can collect pops, but I've done 4 levels in the Scott Pilgrim world, which ironically I didn't see. That's another thing about this game. I completed the first level, and it gave me a golden crown, which allowed me to unlock the Jurassic World levels. But it doesn't tell you that there's more Scott Pilgrim levels. I only knew that because I was like, I was doing a collectible thing, and somebody's like, you got to complete all the Scott Pilgrim levels in order to get all the collectibles in the first level. And I was like, there's more levels? It doesn't tell you that. It doesn't explain anything to you. Like I'm learning all I know about this game off of YouTube, which is, I don't know if that's a developer issue or what, but it's really weird.
YouTube, Funko Fusion for Dummies. So I think honestly the coolest thing would be, I'm really looking forward to unlocking that Mosasaurus Funko Pop that I can then take in a Scott Pilgrim and really wreck shop.
Sure. What you just said makes sense.
Have you ever seen Jurassic World?
Yes.
Because if you knew what the Mosasaurus was, you would be like, oh yes, I'm down for that.
Sure. I haven't seen Jurassic World in a while. But anyway,
you would not forget this creature. There's no way you could possibly forget it.
I forget most movies unless it's Star Wars or something else really quickly.
It is the giant aquatic dinosaur.
Okay, then that makes sense. That tells me what it is, but I did not know the name of it. Stop picking on me, Alex.
I'm not picking on you. I'm just trying to.
Yo, did you know what that was?
Not entirely.
Hey, okay, so I don't feel bad now. All right.
Yo, did you see Jurassic World?
No, I've only seen Jurassic Park.
Okay, there you go. So the Mosasaurus is not in Jurassic Park. You would only know it if you know, in the movie universe. Like, I mean, you may know what a Mosasaurus is just based on the real world creature, but if you were just talking about Jurassic Park, if you'd never seen that movie, I wouldn't expect you to know what the Mosasaurus is.
All right.
Hold on, wait, we got to take the full poll. Jeremy, do you know what the Mosasaurus is?
Yes.
Is that not the most memorable creature from that movie?
By far.
But did you know when he said it?
I didn't know the name of it, but when he said what the aquatic dinosaur, but definitely know what he meant. Yeah.
See, that's what I knew it was. All right, let's get into our topics. How about that? As I take a drink of my brisk iced tea.
But we all know that's not what the listeners want to hear is topics news.
Well, I know that. But, I try to talk about hockey and you guys cut me off.
Yeah, because
no one cares about hockey.
Yield?
What?
We weren't here for that argument.
As I said, no one cares about hockey.
Jeremy cares about hockey.
He is a Boston Bruins fan.
Well, he is the one guy who cares about hockey.
Also a saint, a Boston Bruins fan.
Coming from IGN, written by Wesley Yinpool, Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has built-in support for better audio tech that could cost $20 for 5 years. The Call of Duty, the Black Ops 6 launched with enhanced headphone mode that uses immerse spatial audio tech, which works with any headphone or earbud model. There's also universally head-related transfer function profile, which was created directly for Call of Duty Soundscape. Players can choose to enhance this mode by creating a personalized profile that takes into account the player's physical attributes. However, this will cost the real world money at $20 for 5 years, though there is a free trial. So there is two major issues with this. One, Call of Duty asking you to spend $20 for better audio. That's step one. But the real problem is this opens up a real potential pay-to-win scenario.
Yeah.
Because anybody that gets this has obviously a gaming advantage over their opponents that do not have this, because they'll be able to hear them coming faster. They'll be able to hear exactly where they are. This does enhance the audio significantly. So, Yield, I will go to you first. I know you're not a Call of Duty person, but what is your thoughts on this potential pay-to-win scheme for the new Call of Duty?
Well, you're labeling it as a pay-to-win scheme.
You know, it is.
I could care less anymore, to tell you the truth. This gaming world has turned its head upside down this past year, and so I don't agree with it, but people are going to pay it. It's less than $5 a year. Your Call of Duty diehards will pay for it. So if you're not a Call of Duty diehard, then scream from the hills, but they're not going to hear you. So it's going to happen, and it's going to open the door for other games to do that. And then maybe they'll hear when it gets into other games that paying for audio is dumb. You should pack it in with the game. Don't sell it. But gamers have, especially the young, I'm blaming the younger generation, but I could be wrong. I'll just say gamers in general have gotten dumb by paying things that they should get packed with the game.
Okay. I before I go to Alex or Jeremy, I do want to clarify. I did forget to mention, this is not Activision selling this better audio. It is a third-party software. And
then let me do my rant and then go, oh, it's not an Activision thing.
I'm sorry. That's my mistake. I was going to cut you off, but I did want you to finish. This is not a Activision product. This is a third party, but Call of Duty is the only person that's using it right now. So I do apologize, Yield. I did, mislead you down the direction, but I don't think your thoughts changed too much.
No, but it does lessen the severity of it because it's a third party.
Okay.
So you don't even. I mean, you really don't even have to buy it. You don't even know if it works right.
All right, Alex, your thoughts?
So obviously at $20 for $5 a year, or at $20 for 5 years, that's not bad at all on the surface of it. Once you look past, though, it's optional, so you don't have to pay for it. It's not new game content, it's not extra levels, it's not even cosmetics, it's nothing really added to the game except for the sound. And yeah, people like better audio quality. People build entire kind of cinemas in their own homes to get that kind of really good experience, and they want the best audio. And it's another way to immerse yourself into a game world. So I can see why people would want to pay for it. But now we're getting to the point where you're not just paying for they're not just tacking on extra money for levels or characters or a costume for a character. It's now you can pay for better audio quality. And again, $20 over 5 years isn't that much, but when people see what they can get with in games, it kind of greases the slope, where if they see people are willing to pay for this, they're always finding new ways. Companies are always finding new ways to charge for extra things in games. So it's like, hey, you buy the game, but you can tack on all this extra shit for all this extra money. I don't know. As one singular thing, it's not that bad. But taken into like what it could lead to with companies trying to sell you this, that, and this and that, and all these things for the game you just bought, it can have, a negative impact on the industry overall and lead to people, having to spend even more money to get the best possible experience on their home console.
What about, do you think this is a pay-to-win thing, potentially?
Not having used it, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe, but again, I don't know how well it will give you a leg up. Like how clearly or how much better you can hear like the location of somebody or how you can decipher that. I mean, again, a lot of it's reaction time and some people would argue what platform you play on. People would say PC have the advantage. So, I mean, without having used it, I don't know how in depth it is. I really can't say for sure. I can see an argument that maybe it would, but as far as like not using it, I can't say how accurate it is really.
All right, Jeremy, your thoughts on this?
I'll keep my thoughts brief. It's just another reason for me to avoid the yearly Call of Duty game that comes out. So that game always made me rage in the past, and I am well past that time in my life. I don't need to be wasting my time with that anymore.
Fair enough. I did see you shake your head when I was saying it's a potential pay to win. So my thoughts are, you're thinking it is a potential pay to win?
I mean, in my opinion, it kind of is, yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a huge leg up. I mean, the price for it is, it's not a bad price for it, but I mean, as for a pay to win thing, though, I could definitely see why it gives people a leg up for sure.
All right. Moving on to our next story, coming from Kotaku, written by Ethan Gatch. Actually, no, we're skipping this story. I'm going to replace it. Matt did not give notes for this one because I edited it late. Coming from IGN, written by Rebecca Valentine. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown team has been disbanded after critically lauded platformer fails to meet expectations. Report. Essentially, they are disbanding the Prince of Persia team, and they are putting them on other projects, which is our second part of the story. Ubisoft reportedly has moved the Prince of Persia Lost Crown devs to make Beyond Good and Evil 2, the next Ghost Recon, and a potential Rayman remake. I've seen people with a little bit of an outcry on this, being that Prince of Persia: The Last Crown was actually a very good game. It sold pretty well, but it didn't meet sales expectations.
Shock.
Yield. I think you were the one that said you played this or to play the demo.
No, I played the demo.
You played the demo. From what of the demo, it was a pretty well put together game, correct?
Oh no, it was enjoyable. I wouldn't say that it was mind blowing.
All right, fair enough.
I mean, Ubisoft saying that their game didn't meet sales expectations. Color me shocked.
Fair enough. Jeremy, your thoughts as we wait for Alice to come back?
I mean, I didn't play any of the Prince of Persia games at all, but to hear that there's a possible Rayman remake, I'm on board for that.
I was never a Rayman fan myself. I'm trying to stall a little bit for Alice to come back because this is what I don't get. I mean, we've been shitting on Ubisoft pretty hard for the last couple of weeks, probably past couple of months, really, for decisions they make. And, we always hate the argument, and that's why you'll gasp when I said, didn't meet sales expectations, is because, us sitting on the outside looking into these developers, we always question when it's like, what sales were you expecting this game to sell? Like, did you expect it to sell 10 million copies? Because I'm pretty sure there are not many games out there that hit that 10 million mark. I could be wrong, but there's not many that hit that 10 million mark. So, like, what kind of sales are you expecting? And when you have a critically accepted game and everybody's giving it high praise and high scores, how do you not sit in your boardroom and go, okay, we need to make a sequel to this, and we need to find out why it didn't sell as good as we thought it was going to, and also, like, maybe we should lower our expectations for what we expect our gamers to pay. Especially, and I'm sure Alex will echo me on this, but with all the bad press that Ubisoft is getting right now, you would think that they have to take into account that there's probably a lot of gamers that are not willing to buy an Ubisoft game right now because of the fact of all the bad press that Ubisoft is getting, between them making the mistake with the statue for Assassin's Creed, which I didn't think was that big of a deal, but I see why there was controversy with it. You've delayed the game. You're coming out with a Black Samurai that, is questioned about whether he was a samurai, he was not a samurai. You cancel games like Immortals Phoenix Rising sequel, which I think we all liked. I just don't get where these publishers and developers are going. This game just did not sell to where we wanted to. Alex, you are back. I know you heard half the conversation.
Yeah, did you all skip to the last story?
I skipped the Rayman story and replaced it with this one.
But is this the Prince of Persia one?
Yes.
Okay.
So I know you missed half the conversation, but do you have anything you want to add here?
Well, I mean, it's nice to see. I mean, I guess it's nice to see that there's more devs going to Beyond Good and Evil 2. But at this point, how many people have been working on Beyond Good and Evil 2? Is your team of like 5 people working on Beyond Good and Evil 2? For God's sake, it's been how long to try to get that game out the door? But at this point, I mean, any amount of extra help to help Beyond Good and Evil 2, I'll take. I think that developers and publishers, I mean, expectations, yes, have to be set appropriately, but really, you kind of got to be able to read the room when it comes to different franchises, and this being Prince of Persia. I don't know. Does Prince of Persia really matter that much these days?
I think it does. People have been clamoring for another Prince of Persia game.
I mean, I'm not saying the series is dead, but like, I mean, which game would this? Because the Lost Crown, was this a 2D side-scrolling one?
Yes.
I mean, that game looked really good. I mean, it looked really, really good. I never bought it because I've never been big. I've never actually played a Prince of Persia game, but the game itself looked good. So beyond it just being, I can't imagine it didn't play well. But just beyond like Prince of Persia being a little cold, being a little tepid, I don't know. Like,
well,
maybe
there is a demo out there, Alex, if you want to try it.
Okay, but I don't know. Ubisoft's got its fair share of issues, but I can't imagine that this game was really. I don't think anyone's being like, "Oh man, look what they did with Assassin's Creed." Let's really screw over the Prince of Persia team. I don't think it's that. I just think maybe people weren't as interested in a 2D side and scrolling Prince of Persia as maybe I would be. I don't know. I'd be more.
You did like Tales of Kanzara, right?
Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that game.
It's very similar.
Okay, I'm sure I would enjoy it, but maybe people just want a 3D Prince of Persia, and 2D is not what they wanted. But as far as that game, it looked good. So, but I mean, I can't imagine, again, if people want to play a game, they'll buy it. I just think that in general, people are not that excited about Ubisoft's products now. I mean, when you're just like, hey, we're going to give you more sequels to the sequels we gave you, last year. I mean, last year, 2 years ago. Ubisoft's entire strategy is very safe, but it seems to have hurt them because people just aren't excited about what they're doing. I mean, yes, Tricky likes a fair amount of Ubisoft games, but to be fair, he's playing a lot of Division 2, which came out years ago. So it's not like he's buying all the new games here from Ubisoft. I know he bought Outlaws, and I'm sure there's another game I'm missing here and there. But
Assassin's Creed since then. I bought
Assassin's Creed. What?
I've purchased every Assassin's Creed so far.
Well, most of those are probably pretty good. Some of them are misses though. But I'm sure you're going to buy the next Assassin's Creed, Shadows. But honestly, I can't really explain it other than I think that maybe people really want another Prince of Persia game. They just didn't want that style of Prince of Persia.
Well,
could possibly be.
They do have I think it's Sands of Time, the remake that went into development hell and got shifted to a different team. That's still on track. But I think that actually got pushed back to a 2026 release. I think I saw a story about that. I don't know. I don't know. I think developers and Yield, I'll let you have the final comment on this, but I think developers just need to really realistically set their expectations on sales, because I think if they put their sales too high and then they don't hit them, then the gamers are really the ones that are hurting. Yield, you want to make any comments on that?
I agree with what you say.
Oh, fair enough.
I got one thing to say on that. One, to me, like one clear indicator that Ubisoft's sales are struggling is they're releasing a lot more games on Steam that were just, at least on the PC side, they were usually on the Ubisoft launcher, and now they're like day and date going to Steam. I know Shadows is day and date. They just put Assassin's Creed Mirage on there the other day for like 50% off. Outlaws, I think, is going there November on the Steam launcher. So I mean, that to me, that's another clear indicator that the sales are struggling. They're just, you know.
Well, the other story I saw was that they're reducing the collector's edition by $50, and they're removing early access from the game because of its delay. I don't know entirely why they're reducing by $50. I think it has to do something with them possibly removing the statue. Again, the statue that I saw that got pulled off the market, to me, I think people were just seeing something that wasn't there, but I could also see what they were saying, if that makes sense. And without you guys actually seeing the statue, you know, or the history, it doesn't really make sense what I'm saying. But anybody that saw the story, they'll know what I'm talking about.
Well, real quick, let's not forget on episode 642, I just looked this up on our agendas, but we had talked about Ubisoft being bought out by either the Gamal brothers or Tencent, and them taking it private. So they're obviously, with the stock drop and everything that's gone on since Outlaws came out, I mean, they do have quite a bit of financial, I don't want to say hardship, but there's choppy waters over at Ubisoft. So
don't the Gamal brothers own Ubisoft?
Well, Yves is the CEO.
Yeah, but I thought he owned it.
It's their stock. If their stock drops, they're a publicly traded company, I would assume.
No. Okay, let me rephrase. I thought like he owned he owned Ubisoft, but obviously there's stock options, there's a board and all that other stuff that he has to answer to. But I thought he was like the majority owner of Ubisoft already.
Well, maybe I think. Well, the part of the thing that I think they were talking about is a complete buyout. So he may own a stake in it, but to own it fully and take it private, he would obviously have to own 100% of it.
Well, if you remember, years ago, we were talking about how they were trying to fend off a hostile takeover by Vivendi. So, and that they seemed to get past that. So I thought they really owned a majority of it. I could be wrong. I haven't really followed that, but that's what I always thought. All right, moving on to our next story, and these two stories are definitely Matt-inspired topics. Coming from Games Radar and written by Dustin Bailey, publishers are absolutely terrified preserved video games would be used for recreational purposes, so the U.S. Copyright Office has struck down a major effort for game preservation. The U.S. Copyright Office has denied requests for a DMCA exemption that would allow libraries to remotely share digital access to preserved video games. It's been a 3-year fight with the Video Games History Foundation supporting the Software Preservation Network to petition to allow libraries and archives to share access to out-of-print video games. However, the U.S. Copyright Office officially declared that they could not do this and that eliminating single-player limitation for preserved computer programs or permitting off-premises access to video games are likely to be infringing on copyrights. What's interesting is libraries already share digital versions of books and movies, but this ruling states that belief that, quote, there would be a significant risk that preserved video games would be used for recreational purposes, end quote. Without Matt here to explain,
you mean like playing them?
That's without Matt fully here to explain this, video games are made for recreational purposes. I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
What is it? So publishers can resell us these games? Is that what they're scared of? If this happens, they can't resell us games?
I did not read this article. I'm reading Matt's notes. This is what he put in here. I feel like I'm doing Matt an injustice, but I don't get where the Copyright Office is saying, oh, well, we have to stop you from using it for recreational purposes. That's what video games are, recreational purposes. I don't get it. Jeremy, can you make sense of this?
No, not really. I was struggling to follow along with that entire thing. But yeah, that makes no sense to me.
All right. I will go to Alex and Yield, but we may have to revisit this next week when Matt's back. Alex, do you have any idea what's being said here? Alex is looking at the notes.
I mean, my guess is if they're worried about it being used for recreational purposes, well, we know they'd be used for recreational purposes because if you have access to a digital copy of a game, it's not like you can put it's not like a physical copy you can put as like a trophy on your wall or on a shelf or in your man cave that you could show off. It's just clearly that a bullshit reason to say, hey, we want to sell these games at some point back to these people. We don't want to make them always available, but we want to be able to sell them to them in the future. And that's really the only thing I think I can think of that publishers wouldn't want people to have access to all out-of-date games, is they would want to be able to sell them to people.
Yield, you make any sense out of this topic?
None whatsoever.
All right.
That's for you, Tricky.
Yeah, I got you. All right, next story. Again, another Matt story. But this, I guess, applies to Yield as well because he's starting to get into the world. There will be a Monster Hunter Wilds beta coming as of tomorrow as of this recording. The notes say Matt will be happy that an open beta is coming for the upcoming Monster Hunter Wilds. However, PlayStation Plus subscribers will get an early crack at the demo starting on October 28th, with all others getting access on October 31st. It will include a character creator, which will carry your designated character over to the game on release, as well as the open story mission hunts and an open world hunt of one of the game's early monsters. Yield, I will throw it to you. Are you excited about Wilds, and are you going to be playing the beta?
No and no.
Fair enough. Alex.
Monster Hunter's probably a game I'd really enjoy. I just have never gotten into it, and it's kind of like as time goes on, more and more, like it's the movie you've never seen, and everyone loves it, but you're just like, oh, I've never seen it. Maybe someday I'll watch it, and you just as time goes on, you gather more and more steam, and you just get further away from that goal. So yeah, I've never sat down and played Monster Hunter. Obviously, it's fun because Matt loves it. Yield's gotten into it with Homer and Riley, or maybe our friend Prepare to Die Earth Scum. But I mean, plenty of people in the community like it. I've never, for some reason, played the game. But taking down large, massive creatures sounds, like a good time. So I don't know why. Don't ask me why.
All right, Jeremy.
Is that beta? Is that free open beta, or do you have to pre-order to try that?
Matt did not put the notes. Let me see if I can find it quickly in the link. It just says PlayStation Plus exclusive early access.
Mm-hmm. If it's a free open beta to at least kind of like demo the game and try it, I am definitely on board for giving that a shot. I played a little bit of Worlds, and I felt like there was a very steep learning curve with that game, but it's always something that I wanted to get into.
Ever.
Okay, so I'm looking on the monsterhunter.com. PlayStation 5 exclusive early access is from the 28th at 8 p.m. Pacific time, so that would be 11 o'clock for us on the East Coast, to Wednesday the 30th to 7:59. And then I guess another test is opening up on the 5, the Series X and S and Steam, that goes from October 31st at 8 p.m. Pacific time to November 3rd to 7 p.m. Pacific time. It does not say there's any limitations. It looks like there is open participation, other than you have to be a PlayStation Plus subscriber for the first one, and then it looks like it's open for everybody on the second one. That's what I'm seeing. If you guys have any problems, it's because I'm not seeing any limitations with it. All right. At this time, we are going to throw it to Facebook.
Time to check my social media, yeah.
All right. We only have one person asking a question, and that is Nitro. Nitro's first question is, are there any special guests tonight? I don't know, Jeremy, do we have any special guests tonight?
I don't know. Am I special after 3 weeks? I'm not even sure anymore.
Fair enough. He Matt Nitro also says, I hope the Grinelli takeover is going down smoothly. Well, it faltered today. Who knows what might happen next week? And he also says, I hope you're doing well, Tricky. I am doing much better. But as time goes on, I will get better. But his real question: how are you all, and what's your favorite thing related to gaming right now? It could be the games you're playing, the stories / lore of the games, the music, etc. We'll start with you, Yield.
I didn't realize how much fun I'd have with Spirits Unleashed. So moments like that in gaming where you can throw out quotes from one of your favorite movies and it actually applies in the game while you're playing it is always fun for me. So I would say that right now.
All right, Mr. Alex.
Sorry, could you repeat the question for me?
Oh my lord. What's your favorite thing related to gaming right now? It could be the games you're playing, the stories / lore of those games, the music, etc. What is your favorite part related to gaming right now?
Well, honestly, I would have to probably say seasonal events. Coming up on the holidays right now near Halloween, I think really leaning into the theming of bats and skeletons and witches and vampires, I think is just a lot of fun. I know that I make fun of people when I don't really make fun of people, but I kind of am like, people go crazy for different seasonal items, or when an item is gone, like the McRib, and they bring it back, I'm like, McRib, whatever. But seasonality, there's a reason why people market to it. There's a reason why people do this kind of stuff, and people are just really into the spirit of everything right now. And when done right, I think having a Halloween event, even in Ghostbusters, they have like pumpkins and skeletons and other things like decorated throughout the firehouse, which, as I said, is a ton of fun to explore and just exist in. Not even forget just doing the missions, like just being in the firehouse is a lot of fun. But they've put a whole bunch of different decorations in there for the holiday, and they've even given you special heads to customize your character with, so you can wear masks in the game as you hunt ghosts, which is really cool. So yeah, just leaning into the seasonality of Halloween right now is my favorite thing.
All right, Jeremy.
Probably my favorite thing about games right now is being able to watch my kids grow up and play them, and seeing how drastically different things are now compared to how they were when I was a kid. I mean, it's just been a blast watching them grow up and get into the weird things that they're into. So,
all right, you gotta move your camera back to the left a little bit. It just scooted. Whatever you did, just wait. My favorite thing about gaming is just the fact that I'm just enjoying being able to play different games. I mean, I have a lot of things in my backlog. I often go to PSN profiles and look at games, and I'm like, wow, I haven't played that in a while. Let me throw that in. I started playing a little bit of Red Dead Redemption 2, and then you could probably speak to this, but those open-end missions, it's just like a real grind. I'm having a hard time getting through them.
Which missions are you talking about? Help me out here.
I've literally done. I'm still in the open-end snow area.
Oh, that tutorial takes you a bit.
Yeah, it's just it. I don't I played Rockstar games. I know they all pretty much have a very slow open-end, but I've done these set of missions 4 times already, and it's I'm struggling to get through because it's I'm so bored.
Well, because it's a tutorial with the story. So it's, oh, hey, we're going to teach you how to hunt. Oh, hey, we're going to teach you how to use your gun. Oh, hey, we're going to teach you how to use Deadeye. Because I'm going to take it as, since they're so long in developmental cycles, you may not remember how to do everything. And so they've woven the tutorial into the story, and they don't dump it all on you all at once. So it is a slow grind until you get off the mountain.
Yeah, I've actually gotten off the mountain and one time.
Now you're in Valentine.
I don't remember the area, but it was like it was like a home base.
You're outside Valentine, probably.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm not there yet on this run, but I'm gonna work through it. It's just
wait until you try to do all the everything needed for the platinum.
yeah, I heard getting the perfect skins is a hassle.
No, I didn't have trouble with that. It was the I guess you would call challenges. Doing all those is fun.
And don't you like have to like 100% each mission?
No, you just have to get, what is it, 27 gold medals, I think. So there's a guide that says do these missions. These are the easier missions to do for the gold.
And so for the gold medal, you have to get 100% on that mission.
No, there are requirements in every mission that you need to do to get a gold. So many headshots, maybe, it's every mission's different. It could be so many headshots, complete the mission in so much time, don't use any heal items.
So, but I'm saying one of those counts as a gold medal then.
No, there could be, some missions have one requirement, some missions have 3 or 4 requirements. You have to get them all in one run to get the gold medal.
Oh wait, one run?
Yes. Otherwise, you'll just get a silver or a bronze.
That's why I've always wanted
to
to
in one run.
That's why I've always wanted to congratulate you on that platinum, because I looked into, I had thoughts of going for that myself back, when I played that game, and man, that is daunting.
So the only reason I actually went for it was so I beat the game, and that took me like 2 years to finally beat the game because I play it for.
I think we lost Yield.
No, I'm still here.
Oh well, you went out for a second. It took you 2 years to beat the game.
And so and then a buddy of mine, and I think Nitro and his brother were all playing the multiplayer. And I was like, well, if there's a group of people playing a multiplayer, I'll give it a whirl. And so I did, and was able to get all the multiplayer trophies I needed. So at that point, everything I needed was just single player. So now I'm like, all right, well, now I just got to put in the time and do it. So I sat down at that point and, all right, let's work on it. Now, obviously, I had a guide and was like, okay, I need to go for this and that. And I probably did a lot more back and forth than what I needed to, but that's how I that's how I had to compartmentalize some of the challenges and things, so that way I didn't have to track like 5 things at one time. Because, I mean, you can do a lot of them at once, but you really have to realize that, okay, I'm in New Austin, so I can try to knock out this, and that. Whereas I'm just like, okay, I'm working on gambling. All right, let's get all the gambling done. And you would go here, there, there. Okay, now I'm working on my hunting. Okay, yada, 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 yada. And I would just kind of do it like that. So that way I wouldn't, wait, what am I working on? I'm doing this, that, and that. So, it's a chore.
I'm looking at the trophy guide right now. It's saying it's a 6 out of 10.
It's no way a 6 out of, well, no, it's got to be higher than that.
I would definitely say it's higher.
I would put a 2 or a 3.
Approximate time of platinum is 240 to 300 hours. 200 hours in the single player, 40 hours with the multiplayer exploit, or 100 hours without the exploit. There's 18 online trophies, 4 missable. There's no glitched, and the hardest trophy is the Gold Rush, which is 70 gold medals.
Oh, 70 gold medals. I really didn't find that hard, other than it's just tedious.
And apparently,
like there was a couple, or I should say a couple. There was probably 5 or 6 I had to replay because I missed something or I wasn't quite fast enough. But you will. I'd be surprised if you naturally didn't get a handful of gold medals. I think I had 12 when I just played the game.
Well,
And then so you go back and you get the rest of them.
according to Power PYX, is you have to get 70 out of 104 gold medals required. So there's 34 missions you don't have to 100%. There's over 200 collectibles, 178 animals, 90 challenges, and reaching 50 in multiplayer.
Yeah.
It says Rockstar threw in 4 missable trophies, which are related to your camp from chapter 2 to 4, and doing all the optional story missions. And it says story takes about 50 to 60 hours to finish, and then you have to replay missions for the gold medals and clean up your collectibles for 100% completion. And lastly, the animals. So it does seem like a chore.
It's a grind.
The missable trophies, Yield, without looking them up, I just don't have the names to see if you know what this is. There's Lend in a Hand, Friends with Benefits, Give to the Poor, and Errand Boy.
So give to the poor, I'm pretty sure, is donating money to the camp. Errand Boy is, I don't know if that's helping other people or just doing errands for the camp. Yeah, luckily I had gotten all those, and I got this my first playthrough. So yeah.
Lend in a Hand, I just looked up. It says it's highly missable. It's complete all the optional honor story missions.
Yeah. See, I was playing as a good bad guy, so I got that on my first playthrough.
All right. Yeah, I guess that answers the question. And as I scroll the page, I see.
I don't think you'll have the patience to go for it.
I was thinking about this. It took me a while to start Red Dead Redemption 1 for the first time because it came out at the same time Mad Max came out. And I played Mad Max.
Very underrated.
I played Mad Max, and then one day I just looked over and I was like, oh, I still have Red Dead Redemption is still in the plastic. Because that was back when I was buying physical. So it took me a while to get to it. All right, let's get into our topic of the week. This is a question from Matt for the topic of the week. Is there a time limit to which games should be remastered? We're finally getting Legacy of Kain 1 and 2, which seems like enough time has passed. But with The Last of Us and Horizon Zero Dawn receiving quote-unquote upgrades, has enough time passed for those kind of remasters or remakes? I pretty much know the answer to the last part, but Yield, I'll go to you first. How much time should pass before a game is remastered or remade?
Early, I'd say maybe early, mid-cycle or less on 3. And I'm willing to say at least 3 and back. Definitely 2 and 1 or anything pat 2 and back should be remade or remastered. Anything current 4, no. And even, like I said, yes, anything mid 3 and back, I'll be willing to say can be remade or remastered. But
so just
definitely not anything
So just throwing out something general, you're saying like at least 15 years should pass before a game should be remade.
At least, if not 20. Because, I mean, these are just cash grabs. Horizon, Last of Us, just cash grabs. I didn't like it when they remade it from the 3 to the 4. Wasn't needed. It was uncomfortable. Now on the 4 or on the 5, if you wanted to remake it, okay. But what are we doing now? It's remade. We remade it for the 4. Okay. Now we made a 5. Let's upgrade it for 5. Look, we upgraded it. Buy it again. And it's selling. People are buying it. But it blows my mind. Now, the Legacy of Kain, that is a true remaster because this is a PS1 game. Awesome. But remaking games that you just did, you obviously don't have anything in the pipeline to work on, and so you're just here. Let's redo an old game. We'll keep some money coming in for a current game, not an old game. That's just my opinion. But I'm old school.
All right. Jeremy, we'll go to you next.
I will agree with pretty much everything that Yield said. I don't mind like these newer games being remastered only if you're paying like for the $10. I think most games have like that $10 upgrade fee or whatever. Like The Last of Us 2 had that, and I believe the New Horizon remastered is $10 as well. Like that I can get behind, and I don't really have an issue with that. I mean, it is a cash grab, but for $10, like to have updated, fidelity and a brand new trophy list, to me that's no big deal. That's actually worth it. But yeah, 15 years and back seems like a good number.
All right, Alex.
So I was originally thinking just from the gut, I was like, you know what, 10 years for a remaster, 20 years for a remake, because obviously remakes are rebuilding entire games from the ground up. But there are going to be exceptions. And the most recent one I can think of is Dead Space, because that wasn't 20 years ago. I mean, what was it, 2009? I mean, it was a while ago, but it wasn't quite 20 years. So I'm like, and I love the hell out of the game. The Dead Space remake was fantastic. That came out last year, free for PlayStation Plus this month. Grab it while you can. So there are going to be exceptions, but for the most part, I think 10 years, 20 years is a good model. I really think that PS3, don't remaster anything from the PS4. I'm sorry, that's too soon. PS3, remaster those games. Then when you get back to the PS2, then you're talking, your remake territory. And I really don't think there's a time it's better when you can bring older games into the new generation. Like, again, I've called for it. Like, if they did a Punch-Out remake or something like that, or a Super Punch-Out remake, that would be fucking fantastic for a Nintendo console. If you did a Mega Man, I've called for a Mega Man 3 remake for the longest time, and a Ocarina of Time remake. Ocarina of Time came out in 1998 for the N64, Mega Man 3 for 1990 for the NES. But think about, despite the fact that Mega Man 3 is revered by so many people as, potentially one of the best Mega Man, arguably one of the best Mega Man games ever, if not the best, how many issues that game has because of the troubled development cycle. Imagine what you could do with a remake of that game where you can actually go in and make it even better. It would be fucking phenomenal. And what they could do musically because that game has one of the best soundtracks in all of Mega Man. I would argue the best soundtrack. And what you could do with the music and remixes and stuff like that, and where you could pick your own soundtrack, whether you wanted techno or like heavy rock or like the original soundtrack, it would be so fucking good. So I really don't think there's any game too old enough to go back and remake. But I definitely think when we're talking remakes, stick to the PS2 era and before, and then with remasters, then you're starting with the PS3. But PS4, don't touch those, because that's PS4, Xbox One, just too soon.
All right, I kind of like agree with bits and pieces of everything you guys just said. But the only caveat I'll put on there is I don't think there's a time a game came out that a game should be remade or rebuilt. The caveat I'd put is if you can't play said game on the current console in some form, then I think that's when the conversation should start about, hey, should we re-release this? Should we remake it? Should we remaster it? So like Yield was saying, like 3 and back, I kind of agree with that, because you can play 4 games. I think almost all of them, with the few exceptions, you can play all 4 games on the 5. So you don't really need a remaster of the game because it's still playable on the current console. As much as I love The Last of Us, no, there didn't need to be 3 different copies of The Last of Us. They didn't. The 4 version I was okay with. The 5 version, like Jeremy said, it was only $10, so I didn't have a problem with that. But did we need a 5 version of it? No. It didn't really change anything with the game. It looked better, it sounded better, but it still played the same. And yeah, of course, I'm a Last of Us fan, so I went back and got the platinum for it. But I think as long as the game is not playable, that's when the conversation should start. Because I do fear, and I you can mark my words in the future if we're still doing the show then, when the PlayStation 6 comes out, I'm almost confident they're going to have remakes of The Last of Us 1 and 2. There's going to be Horizon ones. There's going to be God of War ones where they just upgrade it. But the other thing I will say, and this is going to sound like I'm defending Sony or a developer or whatnot. Through my conversations with developers, I've asked them the question because I've always wondered this. Do developers use a port to learn how to develop for the new system to make it easier? Because you already have an established game. You just have to make slight changes, and that way you can learn better for the new system. And they have confirmed that that's part of the reason why they do it. It is a money grab, but it's a money grab to cover their learning, if that makes sense. So the company's not losing money while the team is learning to develop for the new consoles. Sony companies like Naughty Dog, Insomniac, they should be able to hit the ground running because they are owned by Sony. Sony Tech should come in and say, "Hey, this is the way you develop for the console," but there are limitations to that. Third parties I give a little bit of a pass to, but Sony developers should never be porting a game just to learn how to develop for the new console.
And as part of this argument, we got to remember that when you get back to like the N64, PlayStation 1 days, games get kind of rough. Like they don't play as well as we remember them playing. GoldenEye being a great example of that, or some of the old school fighting games where, it's really polygonal and movements kind of stiff, and a lot of those games would deal very well with an upgrade. But again, there's always cracks in every argument. I still think that we all have picked a good timeline for this stuff, but Shadow of the Colossus. Tricky had an example of The Last of Us, where Tricky has bought every single version of The Last of Us, but he doesn't necessarily think they're necessary. The Shadow of the Colossus came out on PS2. Then on the PS3, they had the Ico Shadow of the Colossus collection, with remasters. And then PS4, you had the remake of Shadow of the Colossus by Bluepoint. And so the PS3, I get it. Like that collection was more about getting Ico out there than Shadow of the Colossus, because I feel like Ico was more cult classic, and it was kind of their way to shed more light on that game. But they also just threw Shadow of the Colossus in there as part of the collection because obviously developed by the same team. But the PS4 version of Shadow of the Colossus is the definitive version of that game, and absolutely needed to be made. And I know that kind of cracks my argument about 20 years, but the first Shadow of the Colossus was a landmark game. Played a little, it was kind of frustrating at points. The PS4 version, though, was absolutely the best version of that game, and that's kind of one example of how you can kind of bend the rules a little bit or break the rules and come out with like a game that stands the test of time. So that's my one game that I will say is you look back and it's like, man, that remake wasn't that far after the original release, but that game had to be made. It just had to. Yeah.
Right. Yield, I'll circle back to you because since you went first. Do you want to add anything or?
No, I'm good.
All right, Jeremy, same question. Anything you want to add before we close out the show?
Nope.
All right, let's wrap up the show and do some shout outs. Yield, we'll start with you, sir.
Shout out to Alex and Homer and Prepare to Die or Scum and The Brain and Nitro and even Tricky for some Ghostbusters Unleashed. A shout out to Jeremy, Alex, and Tricky for recording tonight. Shout out to my niece. Her band made State, which they'll do that next week. And shout out to all the pimps and the madams of the whoredom. Thank you for listening, downloading, hanging out. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Alex, go to you.
Give a shout out to the listeners. The fuel to the fire of this Trophy Hordes, our awesome community. Thank you all very much for continuing to support us, because without you all, the community, this show just doesn't work, doesn't go. So you guys are the reason we continue to do this every single week. So we appreciate you all very much for everything you do. Give a shout out to Tricky, Yield, as well as Jeremy for coming on for the third straight week. You got a tic-tac-toe there, Jeremy. Trophy Horse tic-tac-toe with 3 in a row. How's it feel?
Feels pretty good.
I also want to give a shout out to Matt, who could not be with us this tonight. Shout out to the Motor City Machine Guns, the brand new WB Tag Team Champions. Hard to find a more deserving tag team. I've watched those guys since TNA. Huh?
I think that was a mistake.
Why?
I like the machine guns. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a mistake to make them champions so quickly.
If you are about to disrespect Chris Sabin and Alex Shelley, I won't have any of it.
Well, the only thing negative I'll say is Chris Sabin looks old.
Well, they're 41 and 42. I mean, they've been wrestling since 2006, but they still can go. They're still great in the ring. So, and if you're going to rebuild your tag team division, these are the guys to put the belts on. So,
I agree. All right. I know I'm cutting off your shout outs here, but let me just ask you, what are your thoughts on the Crown Jewel Championship?
why? It's like the greatest Royal Rumble title that Braun Strowman had that we never saw again. Like, why?
That title is it's ugly looking.
It's gaudy. Yeah, no, that is yet another negative thing to come out of these Saudi Arabia PLEs. I know the company's getting a shit ton of money for them, but my God, like anything they do in these Saudi Arabia pay-per-views, it's just like it's stuff they're kind of veering away from the normal story, like to have to basically do this PLE just to get this money. I don't know. It feels unnecessary. Like having Cody versus Gunther feels too soon, just for the sake of a Saudi Arabia pay-per-view. I don't like it. For many reasons, but it just feels so unnecessary.
Yield, I asked you the same thing. What do you think of the title?
I don't know. I haven't paid attention to wrestling for a while, so I have no clue what you're talking about.
10-4. Jeremy, you're.
Yeah, I think that title looks atrocious. By the way, I'm going to see that in person tomorrow. Actually, so if you're watching wrestling, they're in Hershey, PA tomorrow, and I will be there for Raw. So.
Oh, you're on the Raw. Sorry,
I am going to Raw.
I was gonna say you flying to Saudi Arabia.
That's what I thought. I'm like, man, he's going to Saudi Arabia. That's commitment right there.
The way you said I'm going to see it tomorrow, I'm like, whoa.
No, I recently. I was probably back around WrestleMania. I got my wife into WWE, which was not as hard as I thought it was going to be. She's actually really latched onto it. So
just show her some Rhea Ripley matches.
Oh, she loves Rhea, so she's definitely hoping we see her tomorrow. So, yeah, that title's gaudy though. I hate it. But as for the Machine Guns winning the belt, I do. It's very well deserved. I do kind of agree that it was too soon though.
It's literally what, the second match or the third match?
I think it was their
second week, third match.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't care. I don't care. Put the rockets on those boys and shoot them to the moon. Listen, a lot of people were complaining their first week when they debuted how there was a lack of a pop. Go back and watch as Alex Shelley was counting that 3 with the referee and listen to the pop for them winning the titles. It was nice.
All right. Last thing, and then I'll let you finish your shout-outs. Just a prediction on the main event. Cody or Gunther?
I think it's not going to be a clean finish. I don't think they're going to do a DQ because I think that would piss off the powers that be in Saudi Arabia. But I honestly think Cody's going to go over.
I personally think, I don't think it's going to be a clean finish either. I think Kevin Owens is going to get involved and cost Cody that match. I think Gunther's going to win.
I think.
Is it for the titles or is it just?
It's for the Saudi Arabia, the Crown Jewel Championship. So their titles are not on the line. The Universal and the Heavyweight Championships are not on the line. But this new made-up belt is on the line.
This new made-up belt's on the line. Yeah, they'll probably give it to Cody. Although I don't see Cody beating Gunther.
Okay. I'm trying to find a good picture of the belt so I can show you, Yield, because this thing is atrocious. Hold on. I'm about to send it to you in Skype. This isn't the best picture of it, but this is a decent
picture of it.
When Matt is editing this show and he listens to this segment, he's going to be like, "Oh, God damn it!"
Yeah, that's what the belt looks like, Yield. Send to you in Skype.
It needs some purple.
I'm serious. You've got that much gold and you got a little bit of green. You need another color to make the green pop. The gold takes away from the green.
I will say, every time they've ever shown that belt on TV, I cannot distinguish that belt. Like,
and on top of that being crown jewel, you should have more colors in your jewels instead of all being green. There should be some ruby. There should be some emerald, obviously, but there should be some diamonds.
Isn't green like the official color of Saudi Arabia?
Probably. I don't know, which is funny because they're a giant desert. But
anyway,
I just think it's hilarious that weekly they show like armed guards carrying the belt in.
Well, somebody said that belt is worth $1 million
In kayfabe or in real life?
money. In real money, because because it's all legit diamonds on it. Like
Good luck walking through an airport safely with that thing.
That's the thing is I think somebody's gonna win it next Saturday. They'll come out on whatever show, whoever the champion is, and I don't think we're ever gonna see that belt ever again.
Or they'll stash it WWE HQ in like a vault or something, and then bring it out next year. But I mean, why are we talking about Crown Jewel when War Games is coming up? Come on.
Okay, I will just finish. I think if Cody doesn't win this, then Cody's championship run is a failure. They can't have Cody lose to Gunther. I think they need to show the power of what Cody can do, and having Cody beat Gunther when the only person other to beat Gunther in the last 3 years has been Sami Zayn. Cody has to win this.
Which that was. I mean, it was a good story, but it was a crappy story. And that was BS as well. I love Sammy, but that was BS.
What, Zayn beating him at WrestleMania?
Yes.
Yeah.
Such a crappy. I mean, I get it. It was the whole Rocky thing, yada, yada. It was good, but I'm sitting there going, this is so cliche. There's no way Sammy beats Gunther. No way. And I love Sami Zayn.
Yeah. It's...
It would have mattered more if he didn't drop the belt like immediately after he won it.
Well, everybody's dropping the belt. That's another thing.
Right.
It's like Gunther had that belt for so long. Okay, now the Intercontinental belt means something. Everybody who has it like a month or two, and they drop it. And it's like, okay, so now it's a clown again.
Yeah, and a lot of people are pissed off now that Jey Uso lost it because now he's got to get involved in the Bloodline storyline.
Yeah.
Like he can still be champion and head into the War Games.
Good, but he's not.
Him winning that belt was useless.
But Jay?
Yes.
I think Braun winning it back was useless. But anyway, sorry, Matt. I know you're going to have to edit all this, and he's probably going to add some kind of commentary into this. Alex, finish your shout-outs. I'm sorry, buddy.
Last but not least, so yeah, anyway, we're all happy the Machine Guns won.
I'm happy they won. I just think it was too soon.
Only time will tell. But again, they deserve it. Give them a run and let them retire in WB because they deserve it. Last but not least, give a shout out to my awesome loving girlfriend Ashley, who got home safely from her cruise. And decorated for Halloween today and having some friends over on Thursday. But I love you, hun. And hopefully Dragon Age Veilguard comes out soon. Hopefully she likes Dragon Age, so hopefully it's good so she can play that. And that'll be my shout out.
All right, Jeremy.
Shout out to you all for having me on for the third week in a row. Shout out to all the listeners. Happy Halloween. Shout out to
I can't believe he's the only one who did that. This is the last episode before Halloween. I can't believe Jeremy is the last one who did, the only one who did that.
Shout out to my wife for keeping the kids under control for 3 weeks straight again. And shout out to her for also accepting that WWE is a way of life. So we're going to go hit that up tomorrow. Shout out to my 10-year-old for his first platinum trophy. So I know I already mentioned that, but still making me proud over here. So
squirrel with a gun, 10-year-old with a platinum.
That's right. And that's it.
All right. Just want to catch up on the chat real quick because hasn't been really active. In regards to the machine guns, Dex says, "Hell yes, Alex." We're not going to mention the Usos getting back together. Dex, that hasn't happened yet. It's next week's SmackDown. And then he says Breaker shouldn't have dropped it first in his opinion. I think so. I don't know. I like the Jey Uso winning it. I just don't like the fact that they're removing all the belts from the Bloodline. Between the Machine Guns and Braun Breaker, they've removed all championships from the Bloodline storyline. I don't like that. My shout outs. Shout out to the goddess. Shout out to Sweet Mama D, who is making me feel like an old man as she's turning 16 in 2 days. She's still my baby girl.
When's she getting her license?
She's not.
When's she getting her license?
She's not.
You gotta let her grow up tricky.
Well, okay. I derailed you, so you're gonna derail me here. Here's my dilemma there, Alex. She's 16. She can now get a permit. But this is where Yields is going to back me up just slightly, I think. Her mother doesn't have a license, so she can't teach her how to drive. So it falls on me to teach my daughter how to drive. But in order
you drove for a profession.
But in order to teach my daughter how to drive, I have to put her behind the wheel of my truck. And I love my truck. There's a relationship between a man and his truck. And to put my 16-year-old daughter, who's a first-time driver, behind the wheel of my truck, where something could potentially happen, makes me so worried that, like, I don't know what to do.
Well, what about, like, Tina's car? Does Tina have a smaller car?
She does, but it's actually breaking down, so I wouldn't trust that either.
Okay, but you would be in the car with her, so if something happened, like, I'm not saying, like, take her out on the highway right away, but, like, just do like everyone does. Go to an empty parking lot and let her drive it around and just get a feel for things.
Until she pops a curb or runs it into a light pole.
Dude, you got to find a big enough parking lot. There are parking lots without light poles, I'm telling you.
Not in New York, there ain't.
Okay, well, but, like, you got to, like, what would you rather have happen? Learn from you, or have her grow up without a license and all of a sudden when she's in her 20s had to learn and maybe you're not there to teach her? Your
significant other, so Dex says DW Tricky Mine now has a boyfriend. Oh, I guess his daughter now has a boyfriend. Oh, that's a path I'm not trying to go. And then Neptune Princess says invest in driver's ed classes. They use driver ed cars. Yes, but in order for her to pass the driver's test, she needs to drive my truck, which makes me nervous.
Well, if she's taken driver's ed class, by then driving your truck should be no big deal. But see, I took my driver's ed class in my grandfather's S10.
And how nervous was your grandfather?
He was like, okay.
Well, you know what? And that was also a different time and era, though. You took your driver's test.
But also I did it in an S10 because my mom and dad were driving a station wagon and I wanted to drive a smaller vehicle.
Yeah, but he didn't want to Chevy chase it.
That was
no, I didn't. I wanted to be able to look at my rear, or not my rear mirror, but I want to be able to look over my shoulder and know that's the end of my car. Not that I had trouble driving the station wagon, but you've got that much more behind you that you kind of have to gauge, so to speak, where you look at the back window of a pickup truck, you see the end of the bed. That's pretty much the end of the truck. So
yeah, but a station wagon and an S10 are pretty much the same length, right?
No.
Station wagon's got a hell of a backside on it.
Yeah. And I learned to drive. See, I drove a station wagon. See, we had a 78 Thunderbird. You want to talk about a nose on that thing. And so I kind of learned to drive a lot of different things.
I learned how to drive with a normal car, but I remember learning to drive a stick, and I'm probably getting a couple chuckles out of this. I learned to drive a stick on a Pontiac Fiero. You guys remember those cars?
The name sounds familiar.
They were very famous because they had the engine in the back, and they caught on fire quite a lot.
Oh, those were the ones that looked like a Ferrari.
Yes.
Okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. That's enough driving ed, but shout out to my baby girl who's turning 16. I officially bought her the most expensive hockey jersey in the world that I've ever, well, not in the world, but I've ever paid for a jersey because she wanted a Panarin jersey. So I got her the official one. And
Panarin jersey.
Panarin. We call him the bread man over here, Alex.
Oh, you're talking about a Rangers player here.
Yes.
What did you not want to? Were you not willing to buy our Boston Bruins jersey?
Fuck no. What's the matter, Jeremy? Why are you giving me the eyes?
I'm still trying to understand what the gripe is with the Bruins over here.
Your captain licks people.
Again, I said I'm not going to defend him. I can't defend him, but the rest of them. we used to have a classy captain in Chara, but yeah.
Yeah, but it can't be any worse than buying the soup and salad jersey that Tricky got, the Panera jersey.
It is a sexy jersey. It is.
You just talked about how you hate the Rangers a little ago.
No, I don't hate the logo. I just wish there was something other than the words.
Well, you have the logo you have in your shirt is the Statue of Liberty on it. That's
Yeah,
a
and
better one.
they don't use this anymore.
Well, that's stupid.
And this is actually not even a Ranger shirt. This is a DSNY shirt that somebody made a Ranger equivalent of it. So, all right, we're doing enough, and Matt's probably going, "What the fuck? I took the show ended 20 minutes ago." He's probably got the edit 20 minutes ago. He's like, "What the hell are they still talking about 20 minutes later?" Anyway, thank you, Dex, for being in the chat. Thank you, everybody, and until next week, happy trophy hunting.
See ya.
Later.
Later
Happy
on.
Halloween.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Zinc. Permission granted by the band and Clubstone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.